Good day everyone, I am Jessa Tubat from BS Ed2 Social Studies. My assigned topic in the subject Ed 202, the teaching profession, are about the Republic Act number 10533 and the Republic Act number 10931. These are under the constitutional provisions, excerpts from the Philippine laws and United Nations actions affecting the teaching profession. So each Republic Act has more sections, but I just get the most important informations because if I will include everything, it will create a more number of slides. But don't you worry, I provided the link below so that you can check and visit there. So let's start. Republic Act number 10533, or the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. It is an act enhancing the Philippine basic education system by strengthening its curriculum and increasing the number of years for basic education, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, otherwise known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. It was approved on May 15, 2013, and which took effect on June 8, 2013. So it is stated here that increasing the number of years for basic education, that is what we called the K to 12 curriculum, from kindergarten to grade 12. Rule 1, General Provisions, Section 2, Scope and Application. The provisions of this IRR shall primarily apply to all public and private basic educational institutions and learning centers. So it is stated here that it shall apply to all public and private basic educational institutions and learning centers. It means that the K to 12 program must be implemented for both public and private schools and so with the learning centers. Section 5, Basic Education. Pursuant to Section 3 of the Act, basic learning needs which provides the foundation on which subsequent learning can be used. Section 6, Enhanced Basic Education Program. For purposes of this IRR and pursuant to Section 4 of the Act, the Enhanced Basic Education Program encompasses at least 1 year of kindergarten education, 6 years of elementary education, and 6 years of secondary education in that sequence. So this is the K to 12 program. Section 7, Compulsory Basic Education. It shall be compulsory for every parent or guardian or other persons having custody of a child to enroll such child in basic education, irrespective of learning delivery modes and systems, until its completion as provided for by existing laws, rules, and regulations. Compulsory means mandatory or required that every parent or guardian must enroll their child in basic education. It is one of the human rights, the right to educate, and parents are the one who are responsible for it. Section 8, Inclusiveness of Enhanced Basic Education. 8.1, Programs for the Gifted and Talented. These shall refer to comprehensive programs for the gifted and talented learners in all levels of basic education. 8.2, Programs for learners with disabilities. These shall refer to the comprehensive programs designed for learners with disabilities which may be home, school, center, or community-based. 8.3, the Madrasa Program. 8.4, Indigenous People or the IP Education Program. 8.5, Programs for learners under difficult circumstances. So as I have said, every person has the right to educate regardless of the differences that individual has. You may have disabilities, you may belong to an IP group, you may encounter difficult circumstances, but still you have the right to have the basic education as long as you're determined and willing to study. Actually, no one can stop you. unless you yourself want to stop. One concrete program for learners with disabilities is SPED, the special education. Rule 3, teacher qualifications, training, and continuing professional development. So being a teacher is not an easy job because you're gonna handle different learners with different characteristics, abilities, and attitude. And as a teacher, you will undergo more trainings for the development of your profession. So that you can gain more information about the teaching, about your job. So it will help you. Mm. Section 12, Teacher Education and Training. To ensure that the Enhanced Basic Education Program meets the demand for quality teachers and school leaders, the DepEd, CHED, and TESDA shall conduct teacher education and training programs in collaboration with relevant partners in government, academe, industry, and non-governmental organizations. 12.1, In-service training on content and pedagogy. DepEd teachers who will implement the enhanced basic education curriculum but have not undergone pre-service education that is aligned with the enhanced basic education curriculum shall be trained to meet the content and performance standards of the enhanced basic education curriculum. 12.2, Training of new teachers. 12.3, Training of school leadership. 12.4, Training of ALS coordinators, instructional managers, mobile teachers, and learning facilitators. So this section focuses on the teachers' training. So Section 13, Hiring of other teachers. So what are the qualifications in hiring new teachers? So this section will let us know the standards and qualifications to be a teacher. So notwithstanding the provisions of sections 26, 27, and 28 of the Republic Act No. 7836, otherwise known as the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994, the DepEd and private educational institutions shall hire as may be relevant to the particular subject. So 13.1, Graduates of science, mathematics, statistics, engineering, music, and other degree courses needed to teach either specialized subjects in elementary and secondary education with shortages in qualified applicants who have passed the LET. And then 13.2, graduates of technical vocational courses to teach in their specialized subjects in the secondary education, provided that these graduates possess the necessary certification issued by TESDA. So this is very much common for senior high teachers. In senior high, students will choose on what strand and track they will prefer. It's either STEM, UMS, GAS, or TVL, and teachers must have the knowledge to handle their specific track to be teach and must be a graduate of technical vocational courses. So why should teacher need this? Why should teacher need this? It's because the students will apply what they have learned from the discussion in the workplace. That's why we have an immersion. Like for example, my track in senior high is housekeeping. So we do more on housekeeping activities. So we have our immersion at Antulang Beach Resort for 240 hours. Katong gipang tudlo sa among maestra, among gina-apply dito sa among gi-immersionan which is sa Antulang Beach Resort. 13.3, faculty of HEI to teach in their general education or subject specialist in secondary education, provided that the faculty must be a holder of a relevant bachelor's degree and must have satisfactorily served as a full-time HEI faculty. So 13.4, the DepEd and private educational institutions may hire practitioners with expertise in the specialized learning areas offered by the Enhanced Basic Education Curriculum to teach in the secondary level, provided that they teach on part-time basis only. For this purpose, the DepEd, in coordination with the appropriate government agencies, shall determine the necessary qualification standards in hiring these expertise. So, those are the qualifications in hiring new teachers. So, that's all for the Republic Act 10533. And now let's proceed to Republic Act number 10931. This talk about the universal access to quality tertiary education by giving free tuition. So it was signed by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte on August 3, 2017. It is an act promoting universal access to quality tertiary education by providing free tuition and other school fees in state universities and colleges, local universities and colleges, and state-run technical vocational institutions, establishing the tertiary education subsidy and student loan program, strengthening the unified student financial assistance system for tertiary education, and appropriating fund therefore as stated in the title of the law. So, Republic Act number 10931, there will be more students will no longer have to pay for their tuition and fees after the Commission on Higher Education approved the addition of 27 local universities and colleges to the list of institutions that provide free higher education in the Philippines. So according to De Vera, the Commission is committed to fully implement Republic Act number 10931 to increase access to higher education so that more Filipino students, particularly those coming from the poor families, can go to college with government support. So that is one of the objectives of the Commission on Higher Education. Why this act they implemented para katong dili ka wala kayo financial maka go to college, no? So, and I am so very much lucky because I am one of the students who was given the chance to go to college. So here are some universities that have a free tuition in NCR, Region 3, Region 4A, Region 5, Region 6, Region 7, and including the Negros Oriental State University. We have free tuition naman. So, programs under Republic Act 10931, free higher education, free tech vocational education and training, tertiary education subsidy, and student loan program. No? So this act helps the students who can't afford to go to college. They give opportunities, particularly those coming from the poor families. And yes, I have said earlier that I am one of the students who is aspiring to go to college, and here I am. I was given the chance and doing my best just to prove that I am worth it for their program. I am very much thankful for implementing this law because there will be more students can now go to college. No, not just myself but also the other. So I have here some questions and I hope you can answer it from your own perspective. So that's all for my report and thank you. God bless.